campuses. Again, gray is the existing buildings, maroon are new buildings. And there are dashed black lines. I know it's pretty difficult to see. Those indicate buildings that are to be removed. Some of them already have been removed. The promenade, which is that central feature I was talking about, that we have buildings which line that axis. We have student housing on the south end of that. And that housing is really, we have this series of courtyards, and we envision each of those courtyards to have kind of its own identity. And so each house will kind of have, whether it's a sculpture or a fountain or something that indicates an identity specific to that building. We also have in this plan chiller upgrades, which are on that lower right-hand corner, new recreation areas and open spaces. We have new volleyball courts along the bayfront, play fields, green parks, green permeable parking lots, a new park up on the north end, and also maintaining the historic buildings and the historic integrity of the bayfront with Caples, or with College Hall and Cook Hall. The next slide, please. Again, this is the east side of campus. This is probably the most changed. We're adding the most new program to this side of campus. Major improvements are on the north, new lacrosse and soccer fields and stands, with an athletic complex, perhaps some retail to support facilities. And on the southwest side, new tennis courts, softball fields, and on the north of the baseball fields, new pickleball courts. Again, boiler plant upgrades as well, and a new maintenance and facilities building. We also are retaining the pay dorms. They will be repurposed, so they will not be dorms, but they will, and I think we are still working to understand exactly what the program will be, but the intent is to save those. Next slide, please. Again, gray are existing buildings, maroon are new buildings. The South Campus, which is the home of Caples, I think remains relatively unaffected. That's on the top of the slide, although we will be providing a new boathouse in the master plan, and this will service the sailing program and the rowing program. And on the North Campus, this is a newly acquired piece of land from Manatee County, and that will have the Educational Contemplative Center and the Freedom Institute. Next slide, please. The next 3 or 4 slides are really more engineering related. It's upgrading the core infrastructure of the campus. This series of diagram outlines really the core infrastructure systems that support the campus as a whole, focusing on both existing conditions and the improvements needed to accommodate future development. The image shown highlights the current this image is the current stormwater management system across campus, identifying key areas where infrastructure upgrades will be essential. These enhancements will ensure the campus can effectively manage increased runoff associated with new buildings, hardscaping, and population growth, also while promoting environmental stability and resilience. And really the strategy here What we try to do in these situations is keep the stormwater retention areas as close to the new buildings as possible. And this is really a new strategy that we're introducing on campus. As you can see on the north side of the quad, there's kind of this river that kind of flows, and that will be the stormwater management system. Next slide, please. This image illustrates the sanitary sewer infrastructure across the campus, along with planned improvements outlined in the campus master plan. These enhancements are critical to accommodate future growth, ensure system reliability, and align with environmental and regulatory standards as the college expands its facilities and student population. Next slide. This image illustrates the potable water infrastructure across campus, along with the planned improvements identified in the campus master plan. These upgrades are vital to support future growth, ensure a reliable and resilient water supply, and meet the environmental and regulatory requirements as the college expands. Next slide. Transportation. The following slide highlights the existing conditions and the proposed improvements to the campus roadways, parking lots, structures, and active bus stops. These enhancements aim to improve circulation, accessibility, and transportation efficiency, supporting a more connected and navigable campus environment. All upgrades will be coordinated with the municipal transportation agencies, including Breeze and MCAT, to ensure seamless regional integration and service alignment. I think the blue shaded areas are existing parking to remain. The maroon dashed outlines are proposed future parking structures. Orange is future parking lots, and the purple lines are new proposed roadway connections. And I think we have one more slide. This image provides a closer look at how vehicular and pedestrian circulation will be reconfigured along the campus's main drive on Bayshore Road. This is a heavily used road. With vehicular traffic. It's also heavily crossed by the student population, which has been an issue in the past and presently. Between the two arterial entry points to the West Campus, College Drive to the north and 58th Street to the south, a designated traffic calming zone will be introduced. This area is designed to promote safe pedestrian crossing between campus zones and to support transit pickup and drop-off, enhancing the safety and accessibility for both students and visitors. I think that's what we have to show today. Again, it was just kind of a broad, high-level overview.
Thank you. Well done. At this time, we are going to move into public comment at this public hearing. The process is when you came in here, you were able to register to speak tonight. You will be given 2 minutes per speaker. We're going to go with the people that are here and signed up in the room, and then we'll see if anybody's on Zoom, and then we'll have questions from the trustees. So with that, let's start with the public commenter. Ms. Fitzpatrick will call your name. You'll come up and you will have 2 minutes to provide your public comments at this public hearing.
First up this evening, we have Kathy Benz, followed by Lillian Rod, and then Dono Miller.
Thank you. For all the speakers.
Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you all hear her? Yes. Thank you.
My name's Kathy Benz, and I'm the president of Uplands Association. New College is a property owner within our platted and incorporated subdivision. We share property, and not only are we neighbors, we're intimate neighbors. We are noted in some parts of the master plan as participants in reviewing the plan. However, our name has been dropped off of a couple of places, and we'd like to have that restored. We intend to apply for affected party status, if necessary, in order to discuss the issues that are pertinent to the neighbors in the uplands. We've always had a very cordial relationship with New College. In fact, your bay font was a gift from our association. I hope that you'd be willing to carefully listen to the participation of the members of the association and our requests. And I'd like confirmation that we can be further listed on the areas for comment, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Lillian Rod.
Hang on, I need to reset. There we go. Please be sure to speak into the microphone. Here you go.
I'll do my best.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lillian Raud. I'm the resident of Uplands neighborhood and also NCF and New College's alumni. I'm strongly opposing the proposal to a road connection from New College to Upland Boulevard. Uplands is a quiet residential street with little to no traffic. It functions more like a pedestrian path, not the collector road. Opening it up to campus traffic would introduce unnecessary risk to our community and cost to the taxpayers and county of Sarasota. Young drivers per NHTSA are more than twice as likely to cause accidents and up to 3.5 times more likely to cause fatal ones. This plan puts residents, especially children and pedestrians, at risk. Additionally, the draft plan misrepresents this road as it is already exists on page 120, and also today on the presentation the same slide was presented where it says this is the current status of the college and this road was already there like it exists. That is not the case, so please do not present this as a done deal. So there is no justification in the plan document why this connection is needed for the college. So without any reason given, I do not understand why the college expects county to spend money to study traffic. Even that money seems like unnecessary to me. So here I'm just asking you again, please remove this connector from consideration. Thank you.
Next up is Jono Miller, followed by Julie Morris and Kathleen Cody.
The master plan update is not ready for prime time. The college shouldn't embarrass itself by sending this out to reviewing agencies. The inaccurate boundaries, contradictions, and incoherent graphics do not speak well of this institution. Required data and analyses are missing. Many of these errors would have been caught earlier if there had been advertised meetings with stakeholders, but the college went 521 days in silence. No landscape committee, no campus development committee, no master plan committee, just 74 weeks of nothing. Then we are given less than a month to prepare for a meeting where we have 2 minutes. None of the stakeholders who are reviewing this plan are getting paid to do this work. You shouldn't be sending this out for review. It's an embarrassment, and it reflects an awful public process. And just to go back to last week's demonstration of that, the entire presentation lasted less than 15 minutes. It was an hour-long meeting. That meant there were 45 minutes to introduce the team, which was never introduced, and to have people ask questions where all of the people in attendance could have received answers. Instead, we were shuttled off to a cocktail party noise level situation in the foyer, where it was really hard to hear anyone. The people weren't clearly identified. There were 8 panels, and there were 3 or 4 experts to attend to them. It was not a good process. In my opinion, you should continue to receive comments for at least until a month after the faculty and students return. To undergo this process when the main stakeholders of the college are not present seems like a travesty to me. Then your team should make appropriate changes based on those comments and then start holding hearings. But this has been a very unfortunate process to date, And I really think you should postpone or table moving this forward to agencies. I think you'll find it embarrassing.
Next up is Julie Morris, Kathleen Cody, and then Karen Stack.
So on page 119 of the draft campus master plan, there's a table that lists 125,850 square feet on the Freedom Center as NA. And this is the calculation that keeps the percentage change at 7.9% below the 10% level. On page 125, the Freedom Center is the only building scheduled for Phase 3, which will occur within 6 to 8 years, and 6 to 8 years is within the 10-year planning horizon of 2025 to 2035. And so why is it not included in that calculation of the 10% change? Why is it listed as NA in that calculation? Our calculation is that the campus is 110 acres, and the following natural areas have already been impacted or will be impacted by replacing natural areas with buildings and athletic fields. There's 2.1 acres for the event field, which was cleared in the summer of 2024. There's 0.82 acres for beach volleyball courts, which was cleared in the summer of 2024. There's 2 acres of pines north of the Hamilton classrooms planned for Phase 2. There's 1.81 acres of the regenerative forest to be replaced by residence halls and an administration building in Phase 1. And there's 6.5 acres of natural areas for the Freedom Center on the North Campus. The total of this acreage is 13.23 acres, which exceeds 10% of the campus. The Freedom Center will enhance traffic along the USF Sarasota Manatee and possibly on Tamiami trails. The Uplands Boulevard is a Sarasota County road, not a Sarasota City road. And there's no data.
Next up, we have Kathleen Cody, Karen Stack, and Peter Schulbers.
Good evening. The cost, it's a minor detail. After 2 years, we have still no actual architectural plans or anything. Can you hear me? Pardon? Better? Sorry. All right, sorry guys. So my issue is, what's the cost of this project? After 2 years, we still have no actual architectural plans for anything proposed. We've had beautiful aspirational drawings through charrettes and national architects, yet no actual plans have been done. What is the estimate of the cost? I was told last year that it would be approximately $700 per square foot for this kind of construction, not including landscaping. And I'd like to have some feedback from this group. Is that the kind of cost we're looking at? Are there any financial proposals? And who's going to pay for this? Thank you very much.
Karen Stack, then Peter Schulbers.
Over the past 3 days, we've gone door to door asking our neighbors to give us input on this current version of the master plan. With the exception of a very few handful of neighbors, the overwhelming consensus is clear. The Uplands community does not support your proposed plans. This is what we want. We want to see the Uplands remain as it is, walkable, peaceful, and quiet. We want to be regarded as valued and respected neighbors with transparent and thoughtful communications with the college. We want to feel protected, not policed by New College. Community safety should not come at the expense of trust and cooperation. For the college to honor both the letter and the spirit of the 10% review threshold as defined in Florida Statute 1013.3. What we do not want is a road constructed at the southern end of Uplands Boulevard. We do not want any New College roads entering into our community. We do not want on-street parking. Our roads are really, really narrow, and we don't want to worry about the safety of our children, our pets, and our pedestrians. We do not want to see the clearing of any additional trees and destruction of the old Florida canopy in the Uplands Preserve. Not only does this ruin the natural beauty of the area, it increases our homes and our vulnerability to wind, to flooding, and to storm surge, as we saw last fall in this area. We don't want to be subjected to light pollution or excess noise either. So we hope that you will please respect our lives, our space, our boundaries, and please leave us alone. There's one policy in master plan, it's 18.3.2, that says, the college shall evaluate as appropriate opportunities for the public to have access to the bayfront. If we're the public, we want to know what that means.
Thank you. Next up is Peter Selbert, Don Popovich, and then Judy Burns.
Hello, this is Peter Schellhorn again.
Please make sure you speak into the mic closer so people can hear you.
How close do I have to be? Right there?
That works. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Feel like a rock star. I wanted to sort of press this point about the 10% threshold. The math that you guys did was very fuzzy math. Not only changing the enrollment from 1,600 to 1,800 when it's really from 861 to 1,800. That's way more than 10%. Also, not counting the vacant land that is going to turn into the Freedom Center, which is, what, 125,000 square feet, the size of a Home Depot. That wasn't calculated in there. So it's just funny math. It seems like you're just making it all up. And that ain't right. So thank you very much.
Don Popovich, Judy Burns, and then Zita Connor.
Well, I am an Uplands resident, and I have lived here for 4 years. And in those 4 years, I've watched this new college rip out 140 trees all along the coastline. Now we have a little bit of erosion, so you plant grass. Okay, we'll see how that works. The fact is, flooding has increased since you've wiped out all of the trees and everything that absorbed that moisture. So with this continuation of expanding the road, I don't see that making any sense unless you tell the truth and don't bullshit. Tell us that you're going to go all the way to the other campus. Don't say, oh, it's going to stop there for now. That's ridiculous. You're not being honest at all. You can't look us in the eye and be honest. That's one thing. Now you're going to put a stage in the middle of nowhere. Why don't you put it over by the tiki hut? At least there they have a bathroom. I've walked my dog, and I have seen no more than 20 students use that field that you put in for how much? $1 million? Who knows? You water it every day. That's it. I think you're just disingenuous, you're not honest, and you're just not following the process. That's it. Thank you.
Next up is Judy Burns, and then Zita Connor and Andrea Zucker.
Hello. Can you hear? No. My name is Judy Burns, and I'm an Uplands homeowner. And since August 2023, when I first met with President Corcoran, I asked for Uplands neighbors to be partners in the master planning process. And despite repeated requests over the past 2 years, we are excluded. And case in point, which has been mentioned, is just what happened last week at the July 15th public information meeting. Residents got no direct notice, public notices were poorly posted, the meeting itself lacked substance, just a 10-minute, 15-minute talk by the chief of staff, no context for maps, and questions pushed to the lobby. We heard conflicting statements about opening Uplands Boulevard to traffic. One expert said it will be for service vehicles only. Someone else on staff said, oh, it's for full traffic. All traffic is going to be able to go through your neighborhood, any road. And we also heard that it was for pedestrians only. This confusion erodes trust. And lastly, we were given just 6 days to comment on an unclear plan. This limits public input. President Corcoran, you've stated the Uplands has been given everything we have asked for, and respectfully, that is not the case. We are still asking for the basics: meaningful communication, transparency, accountability, and a seat at the master planning table. Thank you.
Next up, Zita Connor, Andrea Zucker, and then Jill Castrol.
Hello.
Make sure you speak in the mic.
Hello.
Yep. Can you guys hear her?
Got it?
Yep.
Okay. My name's Zita Connor, and I live in the Uplands. And we've been there for 48 years. And it's home. Everything across the street's always been home. The bayfront. And I do have really concerns about the through road coming through on Uplands because of our children, grandchildren, pets, people walking. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I'm concerned with that, and I did send a letter. And then looking at this policy, the college shall evaluate as appropriate opportunities for the public to have access to the bayfront. And right now there's a sign on the bayfront. Welcome to New College of Florida. The bayfront is open dawn until dusk. Please observe all college policies, including leashing all animals. The college and campus police reserve the right to restrict access to campus. And I totally agree with all that. I just hope that we can still be able to come over there from dawn till dusk. And that's it. Thank you.
Andrea Zucker, and then Jill Castrol.
Hello.
Move it.
I'm Andrea Zucker.
Get closer. Speak loud. There you go.
My interest in speaking regards the road as well, and also that I'm an alum. I was a staff psychologist. I worked as a staff psychologist at the counseling center, and I'm an Uplands property owner. I'm familiar with old research that shows the importance of quiet green spaces for students, for their mental health, so I appreciate that the preserve along the bay was maintained. However, it needs to be quiet. That's just a tiny little place, a precious resource, that little remaining space along the bay where students can go for quiet, where neighbors can go for quiet. I really don't see much point in having a road cut through there. Once the road's there, that's it. It's not a quiet green space anymore. It's a trafficked space, and it is so precious and so rare. So I would like you to reconsider. There are other ways to connect. There is 41. There are other ways that if you want traffic to go, maybe a little less convenient, but so much better for everyone involved. And that's all I have to say.
Then Jill Castrol.
I'd also like to address the road that you plan on putting through to connect the campuses. I've lived in the Uplands for 45 years. I live right on that road. I have grandchildren. I have pets. I have neighbors. You have planned 2,000 parking spaces, and you have 3 parking lots that are going to dump into the Uplands. One at the end of the Point Santa up by 41, another one at the entrance that you're planning to connect up to Uplands, and another one eventually, of course, down the other end of the South Uplands. You don't think that's going to be a massive amount of traffic going through our little tiny road? You don't think that's going to be a problem? I'd also like to address the last meeting you had last week, where you had everybody seated in comfortable seating and somebody on the stage that spent 14 minutes telling us what's on your map. Not one thing was mentioned on what would affect the Uplands. And then when somebody asked a question, we were told, oh no, no questions, lights went off, shuffled us into the foyer, where it was mass confusion, lots of noise. I talked to 3 people. 2 people had no idea The people that you put in place to answer questions had no answers to the questions, didn't even know they were all new, until one man walked up and I asked him about the trees that are completely missing from your diagram. And he said, well, he says, the trees are old. They're going to die anyway. Great attitude, guys. I felt like saying, hey, you're old. I'm old. Why don't we just die now? Yeah. Besides the fact that we couldn't hear anybody else speaking or hear any of their questions. Thanks a lot.
That concludes our public commenters in person, unless you want to.
Thank you. Is there anybody here in the room who came to public comment and did not get a chance to sign up, who wishes to comment now?
Okay, go to the Zoom.
Okay, we're going to go then to the participants that have been waiting to give their comment on Zoom.
So anybody that's on Zoom, if you could raise your hand and I will unmute you and we'll give you 2 minutes to speak. Okay, first up, I see Rodrigo Diaz. Should be being added in. There we go.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rodrigo.
Possible to see him.
No, he's
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. I'll be brief. On pages 37, 46, 80, and 189 of the draft campus master plan all mention the creation of a pedestrian walkway along the bayfront of the college's campuses, South Campus, West Campus, and North Campus. The pedestrian walkway is supposed to cross the property of the Ringling Museum. And of course, the bayfront of the Ringling Museum is the part of the museum where the Katazan house is located. I just want to know, have there been discussions with the Ringling Museum management? Have there been discussions with the community stakeholders of the Ringling Museum concerning the construction of a pedestrian walkway along this very important asset of the museum? There was considerable discussion, or there was a proposal, made by Governor DeSantis to fold the Ringling Museum into New College, to remove it from the management of FSU and put it under the management of New College. This proposal was made for the past legislative session. The proposal did not go very far. Ringling remains under the management of FSU. However, New College, according to the campus master plan on pages 37, 46, 80, and 189, is contemplating using part of the bayfront of the Ringling Museum to construct a pedestrian walkway. This may be a very good thing from the point of view of the college, but has the college consulted with the Ringling Museum management and with its community stakeholders? My other remaining comment, there is no discussion in the campus master plan regarding sea level rise. There is discussion of storm surge, there's discussion of the need to prepare for storm surge, but sea level rise is real and it's going to affect the campus. Thank you.
Next up, it looks like we have Linda Conesiver.
Convisor.
That's right. Go ahead, Linda.
Thank you. Should I start now?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Linda Convisor. Good evening, Chair Jenks and Board of Trustee members. I am speaking to request that the Board of Trustees ask the administration to use the 90-day review period to engage the New College community and our neighbors in the Uplands with the campus master plan. I am a New College alum, class of 1970. I went on to work at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where I managed the outreach for their campus master plan. That experience taught me what a meaningful planning process looks like and how valuable it can be. but to date, the new college process has not engaged alums or our neighbors in the Uplands, as Judy Burns told you earlier. You also may not be aware that there was no affirmative notice to alumni and no meetings that allowed meaningful back and forth. The college may have met the statutory requirements for advertising the campus master plan, but its lack of outreach to interested parties tells us that our input isn't wanted. In addition to the lack of notice, it's hard to get past the fact that you are meeting to solicit feedback in the summer when professors and students are away and faculty and student government are not on payroll. At last week's public information meeting, Ms. Fitzpatrick closed the meeting by saying, "We are actively seeking and taking comment and feedback." I take her at her word and ask that the administration bring affected parties together with the consultants during the 90-day review period to work together on the campus master plan to address the issues brought up tonight, among any others that you may hear about during the 90-day review period. Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else on Zoom that would like to speak? Please raise your hand now.
Thank you. And Ms. Fitzpatrick, can you confirm that we did receive various written comments that will be made part of the record here, if you will?
Yes, Madam Chair, and those are posted actively as we were receiving them.
So as we receive them, they'll be on the
That's
website.
right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can we go back to our other trustees?
Go to the trustees.
I'm going to the trustees now. Can you please go back to the Zoom for our trustees? We're bringing our trustees back who are on Zoom, so the trustees can ask any questions that they may have. We've waited until we've heard everybody's comments or read the comments. Okay, so you have two people still on there. I'll go to the Zoom screen first. Do we have any trustees? Yes, I see Ms. Baldonado, you have your hand up. Let's see, are there anybody else? We'll start with you. You have questions? Go ahead. You'd unmute yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. So the update session being in the middle of the summer made it really difficult for people to participate, especially faculty and students. And students particularly are going to be living on this campus, making it their home over the next few years. And so I was wondering if the college is planning to hold more information sessions with students, faculty, and our Upland neighbors during the school year. And can we expect any sessions that are similar to the January 2024 meeting where community members were allowed to, were given the space to have roundtable discussions and collaborate and directly provide their feedback and input?
President Corcoran.
Keep in mind, Trustee Baldonado, this has been, if you looked at the first slide, it really started even before we got here, and most of the trustees and yourself were a trustee with the New College Challenge that was started under the previous president. We had university stakeholders, everybody come and try to re-envision the campus. That was really the beginning of the process. We went through an initial, as you discussed, master plan process. We had those meetings. We involved it during the school year with faculty, students. The website's been open the entire time for input. As the input comes in from the community or letters, we document them and put them up online now. So we'll continue to take input. I've had meetings in my office over the last 2 years with most of the people here numerous times. I've been in some of their homes. We'll take all the input we possibly can. We'll involve everyone to the extent that we can, but I will say at the end of the day, without question, it'll be the most transparent, open, and elaborate process that's ever been done in a master plan in the university system.
Thank you. And following that line of transparency, is there a reason we can't have another meeting like that this semester with students present?
We could have another meeting. I mean, the point is to try to get that input. So as long as we continue to get input and we continue to have that kind of facilitated, we're more than willing to have it. And you can do it right now. Right now, you could hang up off this Board of Trustees meeting and send in 17,000 pages of ideas for the master plan.
Thank you. I hope to see a meeting where all of the students and faculty and our neighbors are able to participate, just like that January 2024 meeting I hope that that's something we're committing to. I also had questions about which construction projects are we going to be prioritizing for the next 3 to 5 years.
That was in part of the presentation by the architect where there was 3 tiers. But obviously housing is a top priority. Obviously in previous meetings that you've been a part of, you've seen our PICO request where we've asked for what we call the Rice Building. So if I was to say the prioritization that would come before you guys ultimately would be obviously under the existing master plan growth of housing on 58th Street, which is we're moving quickly as fast as we can on that for housing. And then there would be the Rice Building and housing along the Dort Walkway once this master plan finishes its completion.
Thank you.
Trustee Harvey, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, just a couple of questions, I guess. One, I think that most of the buildings the current buildings that are scheduled for demolition, for the most part, will not be missed, Palmer, Hamilton, and so forth. But there are certain things, the building you're all gathered in, Sudakov, is scheduled to come down. The loss of the Hamilton building will also mean the loss of the amphitheater classroom, one of relatively few spaces we have that are suitable for large classes. So I was just wanted to make sure as we tear those things down and build out new structures that we keep in mind that we're replacing what we're losing just in terms of some of those very specific facilities. Then I also had a question about parking, since I agree philosophically with the idea of sort of making us more a pedestrian campus, pushing parking out to sort of the limits of campus. But if we're going to double an enrollment, that's a lot more cars. So, we'll certainly need some parking structures. And I was a little confused on whether the spaces on the map are lots or garages. So,
to the first point, we will do that, Dr. Harvey. Obviously, even now we're doing it. So. As you said, the Palmers are scheduled for being taken down. One of the Palmers is currently used for housing, about 30, give or take, beds. It's probably our worst facility in terms of housing, and so obviously we would like to get that down, and we would like to move quickly along the 58th Street with new housing, but obviously because of the need, we're balancing what we need with how fast we can expand and grow. So that's being done on administrative offices, faculty, classrooms, all the things that you mentioned, and we'll continue to do so. On the, what was the second part of your question, Dr.?
Oh, just the parking and
those are
what growth is going to do to.
Yeah, currently they're all flat lots or ground lots, but over, in fact, the airport and some of their longer term planning, I think along General Spatz, where the parking lot is on the other side of the proposed lacrosse soccer field, that could also be a garage. Wouldn't rule it out, but again, all of these things cost $15 million. So,
thank you.
Okay, anybody in the room? Questions, trustees? Nobody else on Zoom? Well, okay, with that concludes our meeting. Yep, and we're not taking any action. We're just here for informational purposes. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
We're adjourned.